Hi all, welcome back. This is Michael from Seagod, and today the question is going to be answered. What is the best split for hypertrophy? And the answer is there is no answer. Haha, I got you again. I think this is something we will realize over time. Nuance and individualization is very important. Now, I think there is an important point to be made. There are some very good general splits. However, the split that is best for you is the split that you can stick to, that you enjoy. And the most optimal split for you is also that. You thought I was going to say something else, but I wasn't. That said, what is the actual most optimal split? That depends on the requirements for your different muscle groups and what frequencies they need throughout the week. Some muscle groups may require a bit more frequency, such as the shoulders or the calves or the abs. However, some muscle groups like the quadriceps may require a lot less frequency. So actually, if you can figure out how to mix and match and make sure that you train each muscle at their optimal frequency, that's your best bet. However, that's quite complex. So how about we stick to one of the staples because they work and then move forward from there. So one thing I would like to mention is when you are trying out a split, I don't think it makes sense to try it out for any less than maybe 3 months. You want to give it some time to make sure that you adapt to it. You want to make sure that you see whether it's starting to offer up results or not. I don't think doing it for 2 weeks says anything. You might just be extra sore because it's of the novelty, or it might do nothing because you haven't figured out the techniques and the right orders and combinations. Anyway, enough said. What are the main splits we're going to look at today? Number one, full body. Very famous split. What does it entail? It simply means doing all of the muscles in the body every single day you go and train. That doesn't mean every single day. That just means every day you go and train. That means doing every single muscle you would like to induce hypertrophy in every single time you go to the gym. There are absolutely advantages to this. You can train with higher frequency. You can hit those shoulders 3, 4, 5 times a week, depending on how often you go. It's brilliant. You can hit the legs often. That's good, but also tiring as hell, right? What are some of the drawbacks? Well, it's a lot of frequency. The workouts are very long, and you may be serving certain muscles appropriately, and you may be doing too much for others, and you may be doing too little for others, right? So it kind of doesn't take into account a little bit of that nuance. And then you are only doing a really good job at the start of the workout because the workouts can be so long that near the end, you're kind of spinning your wheels oftentimes, doing a bit of junk volume. So when would I recommend this? I would recommend this when you're starting off, when you just need a stimulus. So your sets aren't going to be very high and you can just go and work every single day because you're not lifting a lot of weight. So you can actually stimulate more. And that is brilliant. I think one thing I would like to note before we move forward is every workout split has its utility because everyone is at a different stage. Everyone is built differently. And I think the full body split is fantastic. I used it myself for years before moving on to any other split because it just didn't make sense. I could recover on time and I could work out hard. So why not keep using it if it's working? All right. Now, let's say you've been doing the full body split for a while, but you're realizing you're just getting tired. And some muscles, you're just training them, but you can't train them intensely enough. Well, then workout split number 2, upper, lower. What does that mean? That means in one session, you train the upper part of your body, and in the next session, you train the lower. I like this one because you can still keep a relatively high frequency. You can train up to, if your microcycle is 7 days, 6 times a week means you can train upper body 3 times and lower body 3 times as well, which is really, really, really good. And, in some cases, you might do so much in the legs, for example, and want to prioritize upper body. You could take 2 days off and actually get 3 upper, 2 lower, or you could do 4 upper, 2 lower, and you can make it work. However, I wouldn't recommend deprioritizing legs because none of us want chicken legs. Okay. And as you saw in my last video, my legs are top notch. So might edit that out. We'll see. Anyway, advantages. Frequency can stay relatively high. However, you are splitting up upper and lower. It can be hard to train the upper body after you do the lower body. And it can also be hard to train the lower body after doing the upper body, as they both require a fair amount of intensity. And again, the workouts can still be quite long because you're still training huge swaths of muscle each and every single workout. Next, push pull legs. Okay, I like this one. I personally am doing it at the moment. And what does it mean? It means on one workout, you train your pushing muscles. So your chest, your tricep, and anything that helps you push weight away from you in your upper body. On one workout, you train your pulling muscles. So you want to bring stuff closer to your body. So those would be like the biceps and the back mainly. And on the other workout, you train your legs, which means just do your legs, both pushing and pulling. It is really, really good because you want to keep legs separate in general because they are so intense. Now, what do I like about this split? I like that you can start to specialize a bit more, right? You can start really, okay, I wanna kill those pushing muscles, let me go for it. I want to do those pulling muscles, let me go for it. However, you're not prioritizing the arms too much. But if you still get a fair amount of growth from compounds, then you can keep doing it. Or you could put arms at the beginning of your workout as well. Have you thought about putting the muscles that aren't growing at the beginning of your workout? Because oftentimes that'll solve all your problems because towards the end of the workout, you're tired anyway. The frequency now is starting to become lower. Because I train 3 times a week, that means I can only train each muscle group twice a week. Well, not only, you can play around with it a little bit, but you are training each muscle only 2 times a week. When do you train core, you ask? Well, that's up to you. You can split it up a little bit. I generally do it with my push just because it's a little less sets. Next split. This is a variation on the push-pull legs, which is torso, arm, and legs. This allows you to make sure that your arms don't become a weak point, as that can be a little problem with push-pull legs, or if you focus a little too much on compounds, your arms can suffer. You get an entire arm day. That means your arms are going to really thank you for it. Intensity helps, okay? Especially if you're doing 2 times a week, you want a little more intensity. The difficulty in it is training the torso all at once can be exhausting. Doing both big compounds for push and for pull is quite tiring. So this is if you want to focus on arms. Again, legs separate because we like training legs hard. Final one that I want to look at today, and that is the bro split. What is the bro split? Well, that's what we call it. It's also called the body part split. It means you do one body part or one muscle group per day. That means that you can really dial in each workout on each muscle. You can really give it the intensity it deserves. However, your frequency is lacking. You are training your muscles once per microcycle or once per week. So a whole 6 days pass before your next workout. And if you get the order wrong as well, you might be, impinging on your gains or hurting your gains, right? I don't want to talk about killing your gains a bit too much, but anyway, point is you can really hammer it home. And for some people, it really works. However, I would only start looking at it after you've tried a lot of the other ones. And you're like, you know what? I just can't hit it hard enough. I want to try this and I want to see if it works. To wrap up though, any split can work for you and you can make progress with any split. What is important in a split? That is, what are the priorities for you? Okay. Can you do it consistently? Do you find it fun? And then does it hit the muscle groups you need to hit enough? So because, as I mentioned, the optimal split is the split that is dynamic to you. But that can be a bit more complex and unnecessary, honestly, at the beginning. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to become the most performant you. Click the link below, and I will see you next time.